I'm the mayor of a little, very little country on the Apennines between Florence and Bologna. And it was invested by the Gothic line in 1944, fall 1944. So a few words, if you can change the few words about Castel del Rio, a little Renaissance community on the Apennines, famous for one of the most important bridges all over Italy. It is national monument since 1890, before the Coliseum. Eddie, we have a national monument before the Coliseum. Yep. Very strange thing. Yep. Okay. The Alidosi Bridge, and also for typical Renaissance manners, particularly the Palazzo Alidosi, which houses the museum in which you've been a couple of times. Please. The World Museum Gothic Line has become one of the most important Emilia-Romagna region institution dedicated to the Second World War, because as Eddie told before, it was the very first who was born in the middle 70s, around 50 years ago. So we have more than 2,500 pieces for more than 1,000 square meters inside Palazzo Alidosi. Some of the finds are very rare, mainly coming from the territories of the battlefields of the winter-fall 1944-1945 on the Gothic line. It is probably one of the richest collections all over Italy. We have some pictures here, you can see, if you let me see the pictures. We received by the Italian Army a BL British Cannon 155, and we have, as you can imagine, a lot of pictures, particularly of the General Clark, who stood in Castel del Rio for some weeks and during the fall 1944. Here we have few lines about the history itself, the passage of the front. But you can read it by yourself. I would add some other information. What is the motive for which we founded the museum? Mainly two motives. The very first was to take off the houses of the civil population the weapons that the Germans and the Allies left on the battlefield and in the countries. Yeah. Take off the weapons, okay? The second, obviously, maintain and preserve the memories of that period. And you can change the things. Here in this picture, you see Valerio, my president, and Sam Studstill, one veteran, who died a few months ago at the age of 95, and Mount Battaglia. Maybe you know, one of the most important battlefields in the northern campaign was Mount Battaglia, just north the Gothic line, with many hundreds of losses in few days. And some came for many years in Castel del Rio. We had a very strong relation. That is the second aim and the second motive for which we preserve the memory, for the veterans and for all the people who come from abroad, particularly United States and UK. And you can see on Mount Battaglia we have a trace with a path that moved around among the trees on the edges of that hill, with the name of the bodies who were found in around the 2005, 2010, Valerio. Later, 50, 60, 70 years later. Because we have a group of members with the metal detector who detected every year, and the last German body, we digged out the last German body 2 years ago. So it's a work in progress, unfortunately. Five Americans not yet found. We are still looking for them. And so we have a few lines regarding a short description of the events on Mount Battaglia itself. Please move. Okay, we have outside the museum, we have a Texan T6 plane at Palazzo Alidosi, the BL. at the end of the September, the 1st of October 1944, the Germans didn't retake Mount Battaglia unless they did 7 counterattacks in one day, but they couldn't. And so, but neither the Allies were able to advance towards the Imola Plain because of too many losses. Operations were strongly reduced until the stop and the beginning of a new wave, of a new advancing in spring 1945. Thanks. So some final suggestions for those who are interested in visiting Castel del Rio. We usually make the visit to the museum, to the manors, to the palace, to the Palazzo Lidosi, and then to Mount Battaglia. We do it with the students, American students here in Florence and in Rome, and obviously also Italian students. It's a moving visit because you can get in touch directly on the battlefield of that dramatic, or very moving events of the battle itself. Many thanks. I pass the cone.
A little thing that you have, our motto is keep memory alive, mantieni il ricordo di quello che è successo. Il nostro our museum, scusate ogni tanto parlo italiano, our museum try to maintain these things, keep memory alive. And one little thing that bind Castel del Rio to Rome is this, that Rome was liberated the 4th of June 1944 in the afternoon from the 1st Company of the 1st Battalion of the 351st Regiment, 88th Division, and Castel del Rio was liberated the afternoon of the 27th of September 1944 from the 1st Company of the 1st Battalion of the 351st Regiment. So the same company, A Company, liberated, was the first in Rome and was the first in Castel del Rio. And it's an important thing to remember for us, but for the Romans too. That's all.